The Minister of Transportation said that, you know what, and this government's very opposed to the federal carbon tax. As the NDP has never been in favour of federal carbon tax, by the way, ever. We think it's regressive. Just for the record, right? The carbon tax, the federal carbon tax, is a backstop program. If you have your own, if the province has its own program, and it meets the climate change, the goals of taking carbon out of the atmosphere, you don't have to pay the carbon tax. So the province cancels cap and trade, then fights the federal government on the carbon tax, spends millions of dollars, loses the court battle. Now it's basically become a political battle, right? They're helping their federal friends, and they're blaming every problem on the carbon tax. And again, let's make it clear, we are not in favor of the carbon tax. And now they have in this legislation that if another government wants to put any other carbon pricing system in, they have to hold a referendum. The only carbon pricing system that's exempt from that is the one that this government itself implemented.
Oh, yeah.
They have a carbon tax.
Yeah.
It's a compliance fee, an industrial compliance fee for carbon. This government has an indirect carbon tax. So because of this government, Ontarians are paying two. They're paying a federal one, which we don't agree with either, but they're getting rebated for most of that. But for the industrial compliance fee, there's no rebate. So you cancel cap and trade and you put in something else, but you don't talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about the compliance fee. You don't want to admit that you actually have a system, and that's crazy. Because you should be proud of anything you do to reduce carbon, even if we disagree on how you're doing it. My question is, you have implemented your own carbon tax scheme, the compliance fee, which you charge. Why don't you use that as a wedge to try and so that your residents and my residents don't have to pay the individual carbon tax? Put some horsepower behind that instead of just blaming it all on the feds.